Hi, my name is Sylvie. I am a certified health coach and yoga instructor. And today's video will aim at answering the question, does intermittent fasting reduce your life expectancy? Honestly, I didn't really want to make this video because it is possible to find studies to support pretty much any stance you take. Answering questions like, does intermittent fasting reduce your life expectancy, can be pretty challenging. But intermittent fasting has had such a huge impact on my quality of life. I went from gaining weight mysteriously, craving foods, feeling low on energy, to having the ability to listen to my body and pick the right foods for my body, having reached my goal weight and no longer gaining weight, and just feeling overall great. So when I heard one of my favorite health experts, who is Professor Valter Longo, claim that intermittent fasting reduces your life expectancy, I had to look into the topic. And then as I was looking into the topic, I felt like, I don't know, I can't really answer this question. Like, the guy has a lot more qualifications than I do. The thing is, there are other health experts who have more qualifications than I do, who have also looked into this. And so in today's video, I will try to give you an overview, and you can look into the evidence. My blog post contains all the links as usual. You can check them out and then decide for yourself what you're going to do. I am here as your health coach to encourage you to take charge of your own health. It's your body. It's your responsibility to inform yourself. As health experts, our purpose should be to guide you on this journey, not to tell you exactly what to do. Now that we've got all that out of the way, let's dive in. Does intermittent fasting reduce your life expectancy? According to Dr. Valter Longo, it does. And so he says that it increases your risk of obesity, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. And he says that we don't really know how that works and why it is so. And one of his theories is that the presence of a greater number of ketone bodies may be to blame. He recommends to avoid skipping breakfast, to skip lunch instead, or even supper, which I don't really understand, because his argument is that fasting over 16 hours can come with those risks. So whether you skip breakfast or lunch, you can still have that 16-hour fast between meals. I don't know. He also says that breakfast should contain at least 400 calories. As you may know, Dr. Valter Longo is an expert in longevity. He looks at people who live the longest and then studies their habits. He's found that those people who eat breakfast and live the longest eat things like bread and milk for breakfast. Now, when I started researching this information, I was very happy to stumble upon an article by Peter Attia, and that is another of my favorite health experts. He also studies longevity. In fact, his new book, Outlive, is all about longevity. I highly recommend it. I'm in the process of listening to it and I'm loving it. Here's what he says. First, he says that no, intermittent fasting does not reduce your longevity, and then he goes deeper into debunking those studies that seem to show that intermittent fasting reduces your life expectancy. He talks about a particular study where the participants were self-reporting whether they ate breakfast or not, and then the researchers try to readjust the results, taking other things into consideration. But then Peter Attia explains how unreliable the study may be and for what reasons. And for example, it turns out that the breakfast skippers were almost a whole decade decade older than those who consume breakfast, which obviously will have a big impact on the results. He also explains that since the general consensus, the mainstream health advice is to not skip breakfast, usually those who don't skip breakfast are more health conscious overall, and that will also skew the results. Now, there's definitely different ways to practice intermittent fasting, and you may wonder what's the best way to practice intermittent fasting for longevity. Most people would agree that 12 hours is a good baseline, including Dr. Valter Longo. Even though he doesn't recommend skipping breakfast, he doesn't recommend 16-hour fasts, he does recommend 12-hour fasts overnight. If you're unsure and you don't really want to take the risk to skip breakfast or whatever, you could just stick to a 12-hour fast. But my approach, the approach that has made such a big impact on my overall health and wellness and weight loss, is to fast long enough to switch to using mostly ketones for fuel. When I discovered intermittent fasting, gradually I started noticing that I was feeling different when I was fasting for at least 18 hours or so. I was feeling more energetic, my hunger wasn't bothering me anymore. And so I bought myself a ketone monitor to start measuring my ketone and learn what my body was doing, learn how much ketones I was producing to feel that difference. I discovered that I had to fast at least 18 to 20 hours, and that the ketone number that my ketone monitor was measuring was 1.0, at least 1.0. I would prefer, and I would often try to get it to 1.2 or around there. That's what gave me the ability to become metabolically flexible. So I trained my body to switch back and forth from glucose to ketones for energy. And I did that a few days a week, anywhere between 3 to 5 days a week. Sometimes I maybe did it 6 days a week. I don't know. It was a long process. It took me about 2 years to lose the weight. And that's another thing that I want those who listen to this video to take into account, particularly if you're pretty close to your goal weight. Most women who come to me for weight loss advice are pretty close to goal weight, like around 15 pounds from their goal weight. When you are at that point, it will take longer. It should take longer to lose weight. I don't want you to set a goal to lose 5 pounds a month or 10 pounds a month. 2 pounds a month is pretty good. I lost 2 pounds a month. Some months I didn't lose any weight, but I kept going because I felt so amazing. And if you want to learn more about my weight loss success story over 40, there is a link in the blog post that you can check out. It gives you all the information. So I hope you found this video helpful to answer the question, does intermittent fasting reduce your life expectancy? When it comes to pretty much any health topic, there's a lot of debate on all sides, and people can prove whatever they believe with all kinds of studies, whether it's even the vegan versus meat eater debate, or how much protein you should eat, like we've discussed in one of my previous videos, or is coffee good for you, or is it bad for you? So I'm starting to feel a bit reluctant to try to answer those questions because we're all so unique, and I don't like putting out blanket statements that apply to everyone. I don't think that's what we should be doing. But I felt I had to tackle this considering how much good intermittent fasting had done in my life, and I know I'm not the only one. I know a lot of you who follow me practice intermittent fasting and are benefiting from intermittent fasting, and I certainly didn't want you quitting because you heard some claim out there that it was bad for you. Hopefully, maybe I put some of your fears to rest, and we'll see you in the next video.